Hey, so I briefly want to put this quick video out there to you guys today, especially owner operators and you truckers that's leased on the companies out there. So I get this question, and I also talk to, multiple truckers every day. And I just want to kind of give my thoughts on detention pay and layover pay coming from an actual freight broker's perspective. So when it comes to the detention pay and layover pay, that's what you guys are entitled to, So me as a freight broker, I get calls of, calls from dispatchers and truckers who want to book one of my loads. It's like they rarely ever ask me, what is detention pay and how much is it going to be? And also, how long do I have to be on site to actually receive the actual detention pay or layover pay? I rarely get that question. So I'm putting it out there today to you guys, especially you guys that are trucking actively right now and booking loads. So dispatchers and also you owner operators that's booking loads for your truck. Man, make sure you guys start asking the actual freight broker, what are you going to be entitled to if you have to be on site, longer than 2 hours? Usually that's when detention pay will start. Now, some of you guys out there, which I've heard this plenty of times, have said that you have been on site for more than 2 hours, and then when you call the freight broker up trying to get detention pay, that freight broker will say, well, you have to be on site for 3 or 4 hours. And the only reason why they're saying that is because they're counting on you to basically not know, So make sure you guys start educating yourself out there when it comes to what you're entitled to, especially for you guys out there that's trucking. Because if you guys have been on site for more than 2 hours, man, you're talking about you're wasting time now. You're burning that, 14-hour clock, in this business, time is money, So make sure you ask them, what are you going to be entitled to when it comes to detention pay and layover pay? So detention pay should start after 2 hours. So for me, I pay $125 an hour for detention pay after the 2 hour mark. Most freight brokers out here will pay you $25 to $100, for every hour after, that 1 hour mark. So it's not coming from the actual freight broker anyway. The freight broker, of course, is paying you, but the shipper is paying the freight broker. So how I do is I make sure that I negotiate with my shippers to get max dollar to actually pay my truckers. And I don't take any money off of that 125. That 125 comes directly straight from the shipper, and that's what I'll pay to my truck drivers. Now, the reason why it's $25 to $100, and I'm just telling you guys right now, coming from a freight broker's perspective, because a lot of freight brokers will play the game with you. So they're probably getting $125 or $150, and they're trying to pay you $25 or $50 or $100, and they're trying to keep some of that money. They're not the ones at the site being detained, but that's the game the freight broker will play with you. Like I tell you guys, the games freight brokers play. And the only reason why I'm telling you is because I'm trying to educate on my channel, and it's enough money out here for everybody to actually eat, So the reason why I give the whole money, first off, is because the trucker is entitled to it. I'm not the one at the actual shipper or receiver waiting to get loaded or unloaded. So, of course, you guys know out there, I'm a trucker myself. I just don't drive anymore because I do multiple things in this business. But I started out trucking, so I have nothing but respect for my truckers out there. So for me, I'm gonna give you the whole 125. Make sure you guys are negotiating, make sure you never let that freight broker tell you that it's only $50 an hour. Man, it's gonna be way more than that. You guys, what is $50 an hour? For you guys to be sitting around. You already been sitting around for 2 hours, so make sure you guys start asking that question. What is detention pay? What is layover pay? For me, layover pay is anywhere from about $400 to $500. Never let a shipper out there, never let a freight broker tell you it's only $250 or $200 a night. Like, what is that? Your truck is being tied up for only $200, you know, so you're not going to make any money, you know, laying over, basically, you know. So make sure that you're negotiating for that actual rate to be max dollar, you know, for the load only, and make sure you guys are negotiating, you know, for anywhere from $400 to $500 for if you have to lay over to wait. You know, it's pretty common in the flatbed community, you know, for sometimes truckers to lay over. You know, it might be some type of machinery that they just need for that night, and then they want to load it right back up in the morning, you know. So make sure you guys are maximizing your profit, especially when it comes to that load, because in this business, time is money, and you guys don't have any time to waste, you know, by laying over, and also by being on site for more than 2 hours. You know, so I just want to put this out there to you guys. Make sure you guys start asking those questions out there. Make sure you guys understand what detention pay and layover pay is. Detention is anywhere from that 2 hour mark. You guys better get on that phone right when it hit 2 hours and call up that freight broker and say, hey man, I've been here since 2 o'clock. I mean, for 2 hours. So the way that you guys can actually keep a paper trail or some type of email traffic is for you truckers. Right when you get on site, make sure you email the freight broker and just say, hey, I arrived on site to get loaded up. And if it's 2:30 p.m. and it's 4:30 and then 4:30 p.m. come around, email them at 4:30 and say, hey, I haven't got loaded and I'm entitled to detention pay, because you have already asked him when you booked the load and you made sure that you were getting, you know, what you deserve. So if it's 2:30, you arrived at 4:30, make sure you call them up or email them and say, hey, I'm entitled to detention pay. That's what we agreed on. And make sure it's in writing too, in their actual agreement. Make sure it's in their contract when you're doing your carrier package, you know, their actual detention pay policy. And then you should start receiving detention pay. So make sure you guys out there, I like to say, coming from the military, big shout out to the Army, make sure you cover your own butt, you know. Make sure you do your own due diligence out there. Make sure you start educating yourself, and make sure you start getting max dollar out there. So if anybody got any questions, hit me up on my email, broker@managedtrans.com. Go visit my website, www.extraordinarymovement.com. Go get your 30-day free trial with DAT. Go sign up with TAFS, Trans and Financial Services, man, out there. CEO, commit, execute, and be obsessed. Everybody be great out there.